What's up, Vape fam? My build streams are back. Sorry about kind of starting a stream and then it ended up crashing. Had to restart everything. I don't know if anybody that was in the other live stream has come back in here, but should be okay now, hopefully, maybe. Looks like the stream health is good, so I'm just gonna roll with it. But what we're building tonight is the Alexa S.24, which gets my vote for one of the coolest packagings of an RDA ever. If you've never seen it, it looks like this. No real URLs or anything like that to worry about from YouTube, at least not on what I just showed. But it is a single coil RDA. It's actually pretty banger of a single coil RDA. So we're going to build that up first, then we're going to do the Asgard Mini. I actually had somebody that wanted me to do a live build of the Asgard Mini and kind of talk about coil position and the best placement and height as far as flavor goes. They were having a little bit of trouble getting as good a flavor as pretty much everyone says about the Asgard Mini. But then again, there's some people that just don't think it has as good a flavor as other RDAs, or they don't think it's as good as everyone kind of rants and raves about. So taste-wise, being as subjective as it is, that individual may just be someone that doesn't really enjoy it as much as others. But I will go over how I place the coils, the height of the coil legs as I cut them, and how I go about positioning them. Then we're going to stick some Twiztid Timmy's series aliens. They're over here somewhere. These big fat guys right here. We're going to stick them in the Dani V2, and then we're going to slap it on top of the Vert 2 in series stack setup and rip some on that one. I actually really like the Dani with large coils, especially series aliens. I do like it with 3mm ID coils really well, but I've heard, a lot of people say they don't like it as well until they really kind of beef up the coils to 3.5 or 4. I may do a live build stream down the road, kind of going over a build of the Dani V2 with 3mm ID coils, because I get really good flavor off the Dani V2. And I don't know if maybe it's where I'm positioning them or where I'm cutting them is the difference, or it's just taste being subjective as it usually is. Vaping on the Dead Rabbit 3 on top of the Dreamer. For the Asgard Mini, we're actually going to stick it on a red and black splattered keen that I got. It is brand new, never been used, so kind of pumped to give that one a try. Don't know if anybody else has come in here yet. It's like a couple people. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the Alexa S.24 here. Here it is. There was a couple of people pretty interested in the fact that I was going to build this over on Instagram. So hopefully they show up or watch this on the replay. This top cap off here. Here's the deck. A lot of peak on this one. Your airflow is just kind of coming channeled in and then slamming right up against the side of the coils. I'm going to use, this is a triple core fused Clapton. You do have to kind of bend the legs outward if your coils are not already positioned like this, but this thing is pretty easy to build on overall. I've already backed these grub screws out some, so really all you're doing is kind of laying coil underneath and then underneath again, right like that. And we'll tighten it down some and kind of reposition it. Oh, maybe. Let me back this out some more. I think that got it. All right. Just these hadn't been backed out quite enough. Grab a coiling rod. Kind of straighten this out some. Definitely need to drop it down. I think that's probably about good. I'll move it back just a hair if I can. There we go. Not my best placement for this RDA, but this will work for sure. I still want to drop this front side down some. That'll work. Cut these leg leads as close as we can get it. I think that's good. Go ahead, pulse and pinch. Went back to the Gower 21 just for its simplicity. I really need to actually get on eScribe and lay out my Hadron Plus more to my liking. because at the moment I'm not the biggest fan of it. But I have messed with other people's that had it set up really nicely, so I know once I get in there, play around with it, play around with the settings some, I'll get it just where I need it. All right. What's in any hot spots? It actually came out a real nice shade of blue and kind of purple tones. This is actually a Watofo coil. This is one of the few Watofo coils that I will use. They're triple core fuse Claptons. They're actually extremely good coils. I was pretty shocked. All right, go ahead, get my cotton ready. Camera, if there's any slight little thing it could focus on other than what's closest to it, it will start to freak out. All right, here we go. Might have it a bit too thick. No, just wasn't coming all the way through. There we go. Now this thing does not have a super deep juice well, as you can see. Pretty good, but probably maybe about like that. Go ahead, thin it out some. Now this is one of my favorite single coil RDAs out there. Somebody actually asked me today in comments, other than the nitrous, or what single coil RDAs do I like better than the nitrous? What's up, Deb? Sorry if you got kicked earlier when the stream kind of crashed. I don't know who all was in there other than Chasing Clouds and Flavor Reviews. But yeah, it all kind of crashed as soon as I went live and had to redo the whole thing. I really wish YouTube would let you like end the stream and then just restart it instead of having to kind of copy settings all over again. So like now the video description is not what I had it as before. I think it's nothing at the moment, but it's easy to fix that later, but it's still kind of annoying. And I was trying to get back on live as soon as possible, so I wasn't going to sit there and waste time adding all that back in. And it actually has a completely different thumbnail than what it should. Ooh, actually, I may have needed a little bit more cotton on this one. No, I think that's good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, YouTube is getting bad. I contacted, I think he's one of the, I don't know about director of operations is the right term or what, of Odyssey. If you have not checked out Odyssey, you definitely should. It's basically everything everyone wants YouTube to be as far as freedom of speech, you know, not censoring anyone, not taking videos down, all that stuff. And basically because it's built on blockchain. So even if somebody came in to the Odyssey team and said, hey, you have to take this video down, they could, but if enough people had viewed it and kind of downloaded it, it's still going to be part of the blockchain, and there's no way to just go and take that down completely. All right, I'm going to use, that's not the right liquid, strawberry shortcake ice cream. But I really like Odyssey. Its only problem right now is it just doesn't have the user base. It has the same problem that Rumble has. Just doesn't have the user base. But I like it a lot better than Rumble. It is way more polished than Rumble is. Plus they have their own cryptocurrency. They deal everything in cryptocurrency. And just by watching videos, you build cryptocurrency, and then people can tip you in that same cryptocurrency. And it is a cryptocurrency that can be, you know, actually cashed out on crypto exchanges. So pretty cool. Maybe one day, but I got that gentleman that I was trying to initially tell you guys about. I got him to link my YouTube channel to Odyssey, so everything I upload on YouTube also immediately gets uploaded on Odyssey. So if you want to go over there, do a search for at Sorteal, and you'll find the Vaporworks lab over there. And just about every video that, well, actually no, little over half, most all of my newer videos are definitely over there. But anything that got age restricted by YouTube kind of gets skipped in the sync process for some reason. But anything new that you put up, as long as you don't age restrict it yourself, it will automatically go over to Odyssey. All right, I think that's pretty good. This RDA is actually really simple. It's just built really, really well. Your airflow just comes in here, gets channeled right under the coil there as it's kind of flowing upwards. You just have a solid cap here to control your airflow and cut it down. And really, that is about it. I almost want to lower that coil a little bit, but I think this will actually be good. It'll be a lot of undercoil airflow. We're going to give it a go. All right. That's how it looks all done up. Jump back up top, vape on it. All right. Let's drip just a couple extra drops. But yeah, I actually kind of hit Grim up on Twitter saying, hey, have you checked out Odyssey? And he actually mentioned something. He made a comment on one of my tweets saying Odyssey sounds pretty cool. And I'm hoping he actually starts an Odyssey account and kind of backs up all his stuff. With YouTube really after his channel at the moment, I think nothing else, it would be a great place to have kind of a backup of all his work over the last, 10 plus years. All right, wide open. Let's see how this does. Oh man, that's good. This is an excellent single coil RDA for flavor. I'm gonna cut it down just a hair, maybe 10% closed off at most. Yeah, that is so good. I really like this RDA. It has such good flavor. And even where I had the coil up some, you're really still getting nothing but undercoil airflow. In that regard, you can drop it down to get kind of side and under, but I found it kind of has better flavor if the coil is raised up just a hair. I think I might have had it a little bit too high for me, but this is really, really good. Do I prefer freebase or Nic Salt? I prefer freebase because I'm on such a low amount. I only vape about 0.5 milligram to 0.75 nicotine per milliliter. So I'm on a really low amount of nicotine, and Nic Salt's just really not my thing. I have never been a big fan of Nic Salt. I kind of wish they I don't know. I kind of wish they hadn't come into existence because they caused a lot of problems, but that's a whole other story. They also have helped a ton of people quit, so that is very, very good. But me personally, I've always been a free base nicotine user. Yeah, this RDA does look really good. It actually looks really good on a mechanical mod too. And it's a lot more airflow than you would expect. I'm actually going to cut it down about 50%. This is normally about where I vape it. This might be cut a little bit more than I usually do. Yeah, flavor off this is spectacular. Somebody was asking if I was going to do a review of this one. And I really hadn't thought about it because it's been out for a while. So it's kind of one of those, do I do a review for something that everyone else has already done a review for, you know, months and months ago? So I kind of was like, all right, I'm going to do the return of live building session. So might as well just go ahead, throw it in there. And I can kind of tell you guys what I think about it overall. And my opinion of it is pretty much the same as most reviewers. It's an extremely good single coil RDA. It is built very, very well. It's easy to build, easy to wick. It's just a great little single coil banger. I went from, what's the name on yours? Connor? I'm just going to call you Connor. I hope that's all right. I started out initially when the very first time I started vaping, which was like 2008. So it was like the Cigalite days. And I think it was 12 milligram that I started out on, but I didn't really have any intention of quitting smoking. When I quit smoking was kind of when I came back to vaping. And at that point, I started out at 6 milligram. And then I dropped to 3 on accident because I made an order for e-liquid. And the e-liquid that I got in was 3 instead of 6. And then I'd already been into DIY some, but I was kind of slowly working my way up and actually figuring everything out with DIY and getting better at actually coming up with recipes. And I noticed when I went from 6 to 3, I didn't even notice it really. And then once I started doing more and more DIY, I almost immediately dropped it down to 1.5. And I vaped more. That's really what happens every time you drop it down. You're going to vape more than you did before. But then that kind of levels out after a while. And you find you just go back to pretty much the same amount of vaping that you did before. But at first, you'll definitely vape more. You'll feel the nicotine for sure, but it's going to be from you just vaping a lot more. But it will kind of plateau out eventually. Like I'm so low now that if I don't vape for a while, it really doesn't bother me. I'll think about it. I'll want to vape because I enjoy vaping so much, but I don't get kind of that nicotine edginess that I used to. Yeah, I really like this RDA. This is probably one of my favorite single coil RDAs out there. As far as like testing e-liquids, I always kind of mention that with single coil RDAs. I don't know if this would be one I'd necessarily test e-liquids with, maybe. But it doesn't do the things that something like the Hadley or even a new Sandwich RDA does, or even the Nitrous or Wasp Nano, where they kind of lay everything out really nice. You can just taste everything that's going on in the recipe. Recipe still somewhat tastes the same. It's just a little bit more defined. But this one, it's almost like a dual coil RDA as far as it's just blasting you with flavor. But you know, it's coming from a single coil, and it does lay the recipe out a little bit. You taste a little bit more what's going on than you would just getting blasted with a dual coil would, but not quite as good as other single coil RDAs out there as far as that goes. Now you're at 1.5 and no lower. Are you just going to stick at 1.5? Is that your plan? Which, you know, the only reason I went down from 1.5 was all like the vape mail scare, and you know, nobody was sure we were going to be able to get nicotine, so like I ordered just an absolute fuck ton of it and stored it. And so at that point I dropped down. I was like, all right, if I can lower my nicotine content, this will last even longer and I'll be fine until the day I fucking die. So I kind of dropped it down and I just never went back up. Yeah. Does it? Okay. But the juice that you have at the moment, it's super harsh at 3. Was it not at 6? Was it the same juice when you were doing higher than that? It really depends on the nic, but with most commercial juices, I don't really find dropping the nicotine or raising it unless you're gonna go like above 6. Really ever changes the harshness to the liquid. Normally that's whatever the liquid is itself. You might try a different liquid, but yeah, dropping it from 3 to 1.5 I don't think will really change any kind of astringency that the nicotine itself would be adding to the mix. All right, I'm gonna sit here and vape on this all night if I'm not careful. I should probably move on. That strawberry shortcake ice cream recipe is really good. I'm still shocked with that recipe. I had a bunch of different strawberries in it at first, kind of layered, and I'm weird with strawberry flavors because most of them I get some type of green note, almost like they left the green leafy part on the top of the strawberry and just ate the whole damn thing, and I can't stand it. So most of them were either candy type of strawberry flavors or very artificial. And one-on-one strawberry shortcake, I had that in there for the shortcake part, and then a bunch of other strawberries, and I just could not get it right. And finally I was like, I wonder if I just let one-on-one strawberry be the only strawberry, if it would work. And I did not think it would, but it actually turned out really good. All right, let me get this off here. I do not know if the person that asked me about a live build with the Asgard Mini is in here. Tom, how's it going? Building on your first RDA, the Ardent, this weekend. Nice. Polished up on your Ohm's Law and battery safety over the last few weeks. Hell yeah, you definitely need that. Ohm's Law, battery safety, atomizer safety, all that is super important. I kind of added it to the intro of most of my other videos. It's because I needed it in there and I'd always kind of wanted something. Birdman has a real nice little 3D intro that he did up that always mentions battery safety and advanced users, atomizer safety, all that good stuff. And I really wanted one, and I finally just said, all right, let's go do it. All right, jump over here on this. This is the old trusty Asgard Mini. I wish I could remember the name of the gentleman that wanted me to do a build of this, because he was having trouble as far as flavor went. It wasn't producing flavor he thought it should, or the flavor that, you know, most people were kind of rant and rave about the Asgard. Get this out of here. I always kind of pop this guy out of here so I can set it on here and check exactly how close my coils are to the airflow. You don't want it touching. Eventually you'll just melt the Ultim. Connor, more like, you know, make sure you don't, atomizer safety, more like make sure you don't have little clippets of your leg leads that get down in your atomizer, making sure your peak is in good condition. Always making sure 510 is tight down and that the peak is there. Making sure your coils aren't touching, making sure your coils aren't touching anything metal that they shouldn't be, that kind of stuff. Deb, you still got one of your Asgards on the TS? I'm trying to think if I don't. I've been going with the Dani V2 still ever since I did this up. I think we did that up on a live build stream. But yeah, I've been in love with that combo. All right, let me back some of these out, some of these grub screws. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, you don't know what you're missing until you kiss a hot coil. I did that one time where I was building on something and I was vaping on another mech mod at the same time. So at one point, just doing something else completely different, I turned and grabbed the one that I was building and hit the fire button and stuck it up and burned the absolute hell out of my lip and felt like an idiot. Rightfully so. Connor, yeah, that's normally what I use. It's not Muji, it's a Moza. A Moza, it is on Amazon, and it is the $5 13-foot. The company is a Moza, and comes in a package that looks like this. It's pretty plain, straightforward. Yeah, Deb, definitely. Rightfully so. That was a dumb move on my part. All right, coils I'm going to stick in this bad boy. Some Twiztid Timmys, Freylins. These are the 4 wrap. They come out to 0.09, 3mm ID coils. Or as Batman would say, it comes out to 0.0, mind your fucking business. All right. So with the Asgard, I don't know what you do, Deb, but I normally cut it about to a 5. Because I like it pretty low. All right, so yeah, Deb in chat is agreeing. She does hers about 5. Sometimes I will do 5.5, but for the most part, it's almost always 5. And for the gentleman that, well, I just dropped my Twiztid Timmy's coil. Can't be doing that. All right, I found it. All right, and for the gentleman that asked, the reason that I cut it so short is on this right here. This bottom slit of airflow is actually pretty low. So once you drop your coils down in here, that's sitting almost to the base. So I really want all of that to kind of hit most of my coil, but some of it be underneath. And then also these 3 honeycomb, I still want them to actually hit the coil some, but it just seems like when it's lower like this, the flavor is just a lot better. What's up, Chasing Clouds? Sorry about the stream just kind of dying right as soon as it started. I really wish you could end the stream and then just immediately pick it back up with YouTube. Oh, come on. All right. Now, once I get these clamped down, I'll actually take a coiling rod and pick it up some. I do the same thing with the original RDA for vaping. I'll cut those to about a 4. I'll cut them real short. Drop them down in there until they're basically just slammed up on the deck. And then I'll take a coiling rod and pull up on them. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people do with this RDA is they'll pull these coils till they're almost touching in the center. And that just kills it as far as flavor goes. Yeah, see, they're still off the actual deck itself. But oh, they're not pulled inwards quite enough. Still touching. I kind of just do this back and forth until get it to a point about there. So most of that's all under coil. Those top is still actually hitting the coil as well. Same on this side. And they're still pretty damn close to the airflow. Really right up beside it, but not touching it. I'll actually straighten these up a little bit. Move them in just a hair bit more. See how that does. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. All right, let's go ahead and pulse and pinch. We're out to 0.06, which is about right for it being, you know, supposed to come out to 0.09. I say a hair bit more all the time, Deb. I don't think you can watch a single one of my videos and not hear me say by just a hair bit. I don't know where I got that from either. Neither one of my parents say that. I had to have picked it up from somebody at some point, I'm sure. I think that's pretty good. Let it cool for just a minute. Actually, chasing clouds, I think that might be where I got it. I have a uncle of mine that now, once you mention that, I remember he used to say that all the time. I'm betting that's where I got it from. Now I feel kind of weird about saying it. But there's no way I'm going to stop saying it because it's just too natural now. Yeah, I love these Twiztid Timmy spray lens. These are my favorite coils for flavor at the moment. What's up, Daniel? Been cooking? Did you make us all some? Did you make the whole class? Did you make enough for the whole class, Daniel? All right, so the Asgard has a decent juice well, so I'll probably cut it about like that. Even amount of time, go ahead and thin this out. Yeah, I want to know what Daniel made now that he just busts in talking about it. Forsaken me? Oh, sorry. He mentioned chop suey. Now with this one, I generally thin out the cotton pretty damn good because I really want the wicking action to be relatively quick. And it just seems like there's less chance of kind of getting that cotton aftertaste when it's just, you know, a little dry but not completely. You got it thinned out really well. That kind of doesn't happen. You'll just notice the overall flavor of whatever it is you're vaping on will definitely decrease, and it's like, all right, time to drip a little more. You don't have to deal so much with that cottony aftertaste shit. You just mic vape flips it in there, or you can kind of do the swoop and tuck. Or you can just do the shove the shit in there. Just make sure you kind of try and straighten it up. You don't want it bunched up too crazy on the juice well wall. You want to make sure it's kind of pointing straight down, but also still fluffed up around the coil there. This might be a little too long. Yeah, this side is a wee bit too long. All right. I'm kind of finicky with my cotton, so I sit here and butts and fuck with it for a while until I'm totally happy. All right, I think that's about good. All right, this one, I'm going to use my butterscotch overdose custard. Ooh, this one came out to 0.08. Definitely I have to use some Molicel P42As if I'm going to stick this on the Keen. Daniel, you like low resistance? All right. Should be good. I'm going to vape on it a little bit on this before I stick it on Keen here. I think it'll look pretty damn good together. All right, jump back over. Trying to get my airflow just right. All right, 75 watts, which is not shit for 0.08. It's still really good. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't know how anybody couldn't get good flavor out of the Asgard Mini. Because there's some RDAs out there that people rant and rave about that I don't like at all. I think it's the same thing with taste, and you know, even with DIY e-liquid, taste is just so subjective. You vapor max at 1 full ohm? Holy shit. All right, so yeah, as far as what the guy was asking me about how you build this for flavor, for one, good coils. That's a must with really anything. But also just making sure you get those coils close to that airflow insert. The other thing too that a lot of people have trouble with the Asgard is you can't really see how open or closed your airflow is, but because of the way it works, the airflow is just coming in through those honeycomb, slamming up against the airflow insert there, and then coming down through those openings. So you really don't need to see it. You just need to know how much away from the coil your airflow is. So I always kind of look down at the coil and kind of tilt it to where I can see my airflow there, and then just turn it a little bit. You kind of just have to keep testing until you find where the position is that the pull off of it is exactly what you want, and the flavor is about where you want it. Now you said you vapor max at 1.00 ohm. That's old school. That's some well, no, they were even higher than that. That's some clear miser resistance. Yeah, this is really, really good. So yeah, I don't know what more I could say about building this for flavor. It's just kind of designed to be a flavor fucking monster. But the one thing I will say is just make sure you get those coils really close to that airflow insert. Take it all the way out of the top cap so you can really see where your coils are at in relation to it. Don't have them touching because they will eventually melt that ultim there. So I always just pull them in just a little bit. It'll almost look like they're touching, but then if I tilt it, I can see that there's a gap between the coil and the airflow insert. And then just play with your airflow once you get the top cap all back on there until you get it where you like it. I like it where my coils are about right here and the airflow on the side is tilted up about like that. So it almost looks like it should be maybe 40% cut off. I gotta try that New Hampshire pumpkin cake roll. That sounds delicious. I might have to stick that on the return of the live mixing, which will probably be around like noon or 1-ish. That way I can make sure it's every single week, the same day, same time, and I don't really have to worry about work as far as that kind of time slot. Yeah, this is really good. All right, let's stick it on the key. Definitely going to use a Molicel P42A since it is a 45 amp battery. So says Molicel. Mooch says more like 40. Deb, you talking about the live mixing streams coming back? You said nice. Or my Molicels. I'm assuming the live mixing stream. But yeah, I definitely want to bring them back. I've been working on a few different recipes that I really want to do up in live mixing to where, you know, you guys can kind of help me figure out a couple of things that are just not quite there. I saw Wayne had a Twinkie recipe, right? That he did up on live mixing, and I tried it and I hated it. It has almond in it, and I know he was going for something. The almond was supposed to do something else in the mix. I think maybe kind of help out the cake and the cream all at the same time. And then he also used TFA's whipped cream to just kind of mix everything together. And I did not like it one bit. I wanted a clear definition between my sponge cake and my cream. And it just didn't have much cream. It was all cake and very, very little cream. All right. There we go. Make sure it doesn't blow up in my hand. Give this a rip. Oh yeah, that's so good. You're hooked on Capella's nut muffin? Yeah, but you and just about everybody else. I love that flavor. Although I'm probably more hooked on Capella's custard cake. I love that flavor. I bought a 10 mil of the custard cake to try. I made like one recipe that Mindfloods, or I mixed up one recipe that Mindfloods had posted that had it in there. And immediately after that, ordered a 2-ounce bottle of it. Chasing Clouds, you talking about Wayne? He has a few good recipes here and there every so often. It's just his taste. My taste doesn't align with his taste at all. But now, like currently my favorite mixers as far as posting stuff, if I had to really pick someone, Mind Floods and Sensory Overload have just some amazing recipes as far as my kind of taste. Which is a little weird because they're pretty conservative about their levels of flavoring, but they make it work really well. They both tend to have very layered recipes that work extremely well. And I normally like very loud recipes that punch you in the mouth, but you can still distinguish everything going on in the recipe. You don't post recipes anymore, Deb? Oh. Yeah, this is so good. But I mean, I knew it was gonna be. I've got another one right back here, just in green. So I knew it, and it's got the same type of coils in it. Knew it was gonna be good. Not conservative at all. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, there's some flavors, obviously, I'll be conservative with because some just have a ceiling where once you go over, you know, it's going to turn to shit real fucking fast. But I do like anytime I see like a custard recipe that only has one custard in it, I'm not going to try it because it's not going to be what I want. There's no, I mean, unless it was maybe like Capella's vanilla custard V1 at like 8%, but if it's just one custard and it's supposed to be a custard, I can tell you right now, I'm not going to like it. I normally always have to have at least 2 custards layered. If it's supposed to be a different custard than vanilla, it's usually custard premium and Inawera layered together. And if it's actually supposed to be vanilla, it's usually TFA's Vanilla Custard 2 and Cat Vanilla Custard V1. Yeah, Daniel, I don't understand super tasters. Sometimes I wish I could save a lot of money on flavorings if I could lower everything like real low. Surprised at how awful straight vanilla tastes. What do you mean by that? Like straight vanilla? Really thought I'd love. Oh, but I can't. You can't tolerate. Okay, I got you. Vanilla is like one of my favorite flavors to work with. I mean, my favorite recipe that I've ever made is my Vanilla Overdose Custard 3, and it's just shitloads of vanilla right in your face. They just got no taste. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I was a super taster, I'd save a lot of money. But taste buds never recovered. Yeah. And yeah, I love vanilla too. I found out I love butterscotch as well. Like this butterscotch overdose custard. It was the first butterscotch recipe I ever done that was not just like adding butterscotch in to kind of give a dark sweet note, or using something like butterscotch ripple to add, you know, like butterscotch drizzle to something. It was the first like full-blown butterscotch recipe I ever did, and after that I was like, I have to make more butterscotch. This is delicious. This thing is hitting hard as fuck. These are some angry coils. Yeah, as far as commercial e-liquids, it's just too much. It's too much sweetener for me as well. I do like, shockingly, I do really like some of the stuff that Candy Kings does. And then there's a couple others here and there that I like. But like the Candy Kings Lemon Drops, it's like they just took Cap Super Sweet and just squeezed the bottle till it was empty. But it's still really good. But I can only vape so much of it because, yeah, eventually it's too much sweetener. All right. Trying to catch up in chat here before we do the Dani V2 and the whole series build. It's the shitty recipes. Yeah, it's that too. But I think that's why I like that Candy King's lemon drops, because it tastes like actual lemon drops. Shockingly, just really, really sweet ones. Like those lemon drops you get that have the confectioner sugar all over them. .15 is where you like, what, for regulated mods? Is that what you mean when you say regs? Yeah, sock puppet. Yeah, it's insanely good, but yeah, it's kind of a short period of time because after a while the sweetener will just get to you. All right, I'm gonna set that aside before I pop a lung from just constantly vaping that. It's so good. Just picked up Innerwear lemon cake. I love that flavor. There was one, speaking of mind floods, he's got a recipe that uses Innerwear's lemon cake, I think Pandoro, and Capella's custard cake, and that recipe is amazing. I feel like I'm just cheerleading for mind floods. Sorry. All right, let's jump over and stick these series coils in Dani V2. Yes, regulated. Yeah, I do like lower resistances in regulated mods, but like most of the squonk mods that I have that are even dual coil are most of them are set to 0.15. I don't think, yeah, most of them are all 0.15, I do believe at the moment. All right. So where are our series coils? This is the Dani V2 from Silvercraft Creations over in the Philippines. These are the giant coils we're going to stick in here. All right, let's back these out. They may actually be backed out. Yeah, they're backed out already. I love the look of this deck. It is just so shiny. And like I've used this a lot, and the only thing I did when I took the coils out was I ran hot water through it and then dried it out really well. And that's it. And it's still just mirror polished. Yeah, it's probably going to be close to that. These should come out to 0.3. So then sticking them on this right here, it's probably going to be close to 150, if not, it actually probably higher than that. All right, so for this one, I'm going to cut these leg leads pretty short, honestly. I'm going to do 5, basically because if you watched, this is kind of a divisive RDA. Like I ranted and raved about this thing because I think it has some amazing flavor once you position the coils correctly. If they're 3mm ID coils, anything above that 3.54 or these big fat series aliens is going to be amazing flavor. It's really built for series vaping. Most stuff built in the Philippines is probably going to be, at least have series in mind when they built it. This is definitely one of those, but you can use 3mm ID coils in this. You just want to make sure once you put them down in there, kind of the edge of your coil here is up against the edge of the deck right there. You don't want it any farther over, and you definitely don't want it any farther in. All right, let me cut these real quick and stop fucking flapping my jaw. There we go. Let me back these out. I may actually cut these slightly shorter. First, let me make sure it's not just where they're backed out. Yeah, I'm going to cut these even shorter. Let's go 4. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna make sure that actually clamped down on the leg correctly. Looks like it did. It's good enough for right now. Oh yeah, wait, we gotta cut these as well. Looking good. That is a lot of coil. Come on. All right. So I'm basically going to do the same thing on this, where I'm trying to get the edge of the coil lined up with the edge of the deck right there. Because basically what this is supposed to do, or what, you know, says it's supposed to do, you got this little ramp right here, and it doesn't really like catapult the airflow up towards this. It's actually kind of helping catch the airflow under the coil and in this little almost hallway, because it's not open on either side here. So when the airflow comes in, you're trying to capture as much airflow in this little, I don't know, hallway as you can, because it's going to go straight up. So it's going to be under the coil. But if you move them too close together, the airflow goes straight up kind of on the sides and the flavor just starts to die. So kind of notice this is about the best position for coils in this thing. All right, I'm going to actually kind of tighten these down a little bit more. Come on, catch, motherfucker. There we go. All right, I think that's good. Nothing up in there. No coil leg, flakes, nothing like that. The last thing you want in a series vape is a hard short. Uh-oh. We got a short circuit. I think one of these not catching the leg very well. Give me just a second. I'm basically just kind of pulling on the ends to make sure it's actually caught that leg completely. That actually looks closer to where it should be. I think it's this coil right here that's not catching right. But looks like it's doing all right now. Yeah, I think we got it now. I'm pretty sure only thing that I did was I kind of loosened it just a little bit and then pushed that leg over some so the grub screw would catch it a little better. Matthew, what's up? These are 3.5 millimeter ID coils. All right, let's see. Resistance came out to 0.3, pretty much on the money. I think we're pretty good. Not getting any hot spots, it's glowing good. I could crank the wattage up. See how it glows with higher wattage. Make sure there's no hot spots. Oh, we are getting a few. All right. I think that's good. Let's go ahead and wick it up. I have not kept up with chat, sorry. Once it shorted on me, I was like, oh shit. All right, now this thing does have a deep juice well, so I'm gonna cut them Not like that. That may not be enough, honestly, but I think it's about spot on. We'll cross our fingers and pray. Yeah, sock puppet. Yeah, this channel doesn't do elf bars. Sorry, and that's definitely. Not that I dislike disposables. I mean, I kind of do, but I'm still of the mindset that if they help somebody quit, awesome. But I'm also of the mindset that I think a pod system probably could have done the same thing. But I get that a lot of people are all about convenience. When I worked at the vape shop, there was a lot of people that were like, I don't want to refill this thing. Why can't I just buy a thing and then throw it away like I was doing with cigarettes? So I know, you know, that's the deal with disposables and a lot of people, but I don't know. Definitely don't hate them, but I wish they weren't quite so everywhere. And I wish they didn't look the way they look sometimes. It does not help the rest of us out. I saw that newer disposable that looks like a slushy and just rolled my eyes. I was just like, what the fuck is this? This is all we need. Pretty easy to wick given that it has a really deep juice well, and the wicks can't go kind of into the center. They're all very isolated from the middle of the deck. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Juice this one up. I'm going to use my custard filled flaky pastry. The RDA here is called the Dani V2. Here's the top cap to it. It is a 28 millimeter atomizer. It comes from Silvercraft Creations company over in the Philippines. Well, really, it's kind of just one guy. Or at least that's how it seems. Maybe more people, when they see this, they're like, hey, fuck you, I'm here. Give him all the credit. But it certainly seems like it's mostly one dude. It just sounds so soft, and it's 80 watts. Sounds like a nice soft vape at 80 watts. Birdman loves the Dani. I have not seen his thoughts on the Dani. I was kind of curious because, you know, like Grim didn't like it. And I had a post on Instagram where I was talking about how much I love the flavor off of this. And he was like, I think Grim Green would disagree with you. And Grim kind of posted, you know, kind of the emoji of the like the whatever. Like, I don't know, man. But I was also very much like, you know, hey, everybody's taste is different. I would much rather Grim give an honest review. All right. I'm gonna go ahead, stick this top cap back on. We'll jump back up top, and I'm gonna vape it on this for a little bit so we can kind of crank the wattage up and make sure it's not gonna short out on me before I stick it on the Vert 2. Normally cut the airflow down about half on this. Show you. Not like that. Airflow is real simple with this. It's at 80 watts. That's what I was using just to kind of juice and fire. And it's real light, so I have to go way above that. Let's see what 110 does. So it's 110 watts, halfway closed off. That's really good. Man, that top cap gets hot real quick with it like this. But the flavor is so good. All right, let's crank it to 140. Oh yeah. That is really good. But also a shit ton of vapor. But it's not shorting out on me, so I think we're good. Coming out to 0.3 on the money. Yeah, let's go ahead. Stick it on the Vert 2 and series stack setup. Got a couple of 30Ts from Samsung here. Figure if we're gonna do a series stack, we might as well stick the hardest hitting batteries in them. Always make sure you got your spacer, unless of course it's the 1111, because that stack section has the spacer built into it. It's really nice. Oh wait, what am I doing? I'm over here being dangerous as all hell. Put your atomizer on first, then your batteries. Then you end up with a colossal monster like this. I accidentally touched the fire button and it shocked the shit out of me because I wasn't expecting it. All right. For as much power as is pumping through these coils, you would expect it not to have just really, really good flavor, but with the Dani series vape is extremely flavorful. Yeah. I'm getting practically everything that is laid out in this custard filled flaky pastry. I can even like kind of taste the glaze from the glazed donut that I used, which really I was trying to use it low enough and then also use Wonder Flavors croissants to do kind of more of a flaky pastry. Added a little bit of Vape Train's butter base to make it buttery. But with this, you actually get that tinge of glaze in there as well. It's kind of interesting. I'm really liking this. My wife probably will not because it's so cloudy. I mean, I have been vaping a lot, but this has definitely upped the storm system that's brewing in my office right now. Yeah, I definitely need to check out Birdman's thoughts on the Dani V2 because I love this RDA. Yeah, you probably could. These are my favorite series aliens. I really like Jonathan's coil clout, their series aliens as well, but they get kind of a metallic taste to them, really for kind of a long time. About the first like half a day that you're using them, you're gonna get like a little tinge of a metallic aftertaste. And I thought it was the liquid the first time I used them. I was like, man, just sat in that bottle too long, and now it started to kind of get that weird metallic taste that liquids can if they sit too long in those plastic bottles. But it wasn't that. Eventually it kind of went away, and I noticed every time I would re-wick it and use a different liquid, I would still kind of taste it. But once it fully goes away, the Coil Clout series aliens are really, really good. But these Twiztid Timmy ones are just, I don't know. They're the best ones I've ever tried, at least. I will say I've never tried Breeze Tone's series aliens. I'm not even sure if he makes any. I'm sure he probably does, but I've never tried his before. Done mixing up your big bottle? Hell yeah. Do you ever mix up like really large? Like sometimes, like with that Vanilla Overdose Custard 3, I vape that so frequently and on so many different things that I actually make up a 16-ounce bottle. And like this one's done. That's my Vanilla Overdose Custard bottle that I had. But now I had that for a little over a month at that size. I have seen a ton of pictures, you know, Facebook, Instagram, of people making huge bottles of e-liquid. I just noticed a lot of DIYers tend to kind of stick to the 30, maybe 60, maybe 120, just because we tend to bounce around on recipes so often. You don't really want to get stuck with something that all of a sudden you found another recipe that does something similar that you like better. Well, now I got to know what recipe it is that you would mix up that much of. I really like to vape off this. I could not vape this like on the regular. This is too hot. And I like heat in my vape, but I don't like that much heat constantly. Every once in a while it's great. And like right now, I haven't vaped series in a minute, so I'm really enjoying this. But give it another few days, and I'll be ready. I'll be ready to stick the Dani on just a single battery mech mod with, you know, maybe some 3.5 millimeter aliens. Lemon berry pie remix, nice. Yellow matter custard. I have not tried that. And what's up, Mowgli? Yeah, this is really good. Really very good. I kind of want to go back to this one right here because it's got the butterscotch overdose custard in it. All right, so I don't have the poll in this one. I didn't have time to redo it, but you saw the original live stream of this before it immediately crashed. I had a poll going on that said, do you use or vape on series regularly? And by the time I went live and then YouTube kind of crapped out on me, it was pretty much 50-50. I was kind of shocked by that. I'm gonna say stick to 3.5 millimeter because of the lip of the air. Yeah, it does do, the Dani does 3.5 and 4 millimeter ID coils the best. But normally if I vape it on just a single battery meg mod or on a regulated mod, I will use 3mm ID coils. You just kind of have to be finicky with the placement a little bit. I think the first time I ever built it, I got lucky that it just kind of landed where it really vapes the best, and that is with the edge of those coils lined up with the edge of the block there for the deck, and the flavor off of it is amazing. I really don't know. I would never, you know, when Grim did his review, he started out with 2.5mm ID coils, and that's a bad idea for Dani for sure. But, you know, he wasn't a big fan of it with 3mm ID coils either, and I was kind of shocked by that, but, you know, it is what it is. If he didn't like it, he didn't like it. That's unfortunate, but, you know. All these are some angry coils, except for this one right here, except for the Alexa S.24 with that 0.17 triple core fuse clapton in it. But these other two are just some angry ass coils. And I have to hydrate. This is my live stream mug. Got a shout out to Dragon Ball Z. Oh, that's better. All right, go back to this for a second. Yeah, that's really good. All right, so glad that live streams are back. I'm really not sure what my schedule is going to be coming up, other than the fact that I know I'll always have Mondays off. One of the big reasons I did that was because I volunteered for a ton of noted episodes, and my boss is actually pretty cool with that. She actually watched the bakery custards episode that I was on. Even though she doesn't vape, she just thought it was interesting that, you know, I was doing that kind of stuff and doing the channel. So she's kind of checked out a lot of what I'm going on, a lot of what I've got going on. There we go. That's English. So she's been pretty cool about that, but I don't really know what my other off day will be for sure. I'm hoping it will be Wednesdays, and then we can just keep this Wednesday 10 p.m. But hopefully I'll know more starting next week, because we kind of I was supposed to be on Noted for the recipe week, but I ended up having to work, so I couldn't be on, and we had 2 people quit, so it kind of screwed up everyone's schedule. But now we got some new people coming in, and hopefully my off days can go back to normal. Except I did have her shift one of my off days to Monday, so that'll work out better for Noted, and then also work out better for doing, I'll probably also do the live mixing Mondays around noon or 1-ish. Oh, you talking about the top flights, Boro coils? Those are pretty damn. I really like the 2.5mm ones. I have not tried the 3mm ID top flights that he started to do. Work life is bad all over. Yeah, it definitely is. I got lucky that at least I have a boss that's pretty cool with, you know, everything going on with my YouTube channel, and then, you know, that I was wanting to be on Noted more, and she was willing to shift my off day. I think another thing too with this Dani that everyone really kind of has to remember, it has a huge juice well in it, and the way that it kind of funnels juice is it's going down the middle of the RDA, and then it kind of has to run out and then around to the coils, so you can kind of really just dump juice in it, and it's really better if you do. If you're kind of one of those, you just want to put some few drops down in there, it's not going to perform as well as it should. Yeah, I think those are the top flights, pretty sure. Uses coil clout. Man, Jonathan makes some amazing coils, especially his his low mass coils. He makes some amazing low mass coils. But once I tried Twiztid Timmy's Fralians, I was like, this is the best flavor I've ever gotten off a coil. So I kind of became addicted to them. I do like his Alien V2s as well. And then I really like his Lucky 7s, which are 2.5 millimeter aliens. I've got those in the nitrous right now on top of, well, this little guy right here. Just did the review for it. It's the Voorhees Custom Mech Squonker with the Sorteal's Vaporworks lab on it. I had some 0.15 aliens in there, and then kind of went back to the Lucky 7s. They normally, I think they come out to 0.11, but they're really good, especially for 2.5 millimeter coils. Mostly just order from Wire Optim. I really like Wire Optim as well. That's normally where I actually buy my spooled wire. And then I've really shifted to Wire Optim for mesh. Their mesh is really good. Other than Watofo really only beats them out in mesh for the extreme mesh, that kind of woven mesh. Wire Optim still hadn't nailed that as well as Watofo has. But all other mesh that Wire Optim sells is better. Is that an orange nitrous? Yes, ma'am, it is. I got the orange AFC beauty ring and orange drip tip. It took me a while because like Coco Sarang was doing teasers about the orange AFC rings and stuff on Instagram, and then I kind of bugged Damn Vape. I would send them emails and say, hey, how do I get these? And then finally they sent me an email back. They were like, hey, we're not selling these except in Indonesia, and they're very vape shop exclusive. But if you want them, place an order and pick whatever color you want, and then put in the comments that, hey, this is Sorteal and I want orange. And they ended up sending it to me, but I guess they got enough feedback from Instagram and things like that, and I told a couple of people, hey, if you want orange, this is what you got to do. And now they sell them on the site, just right there. You can just go and select orange and you're good to go. I actually got this right here, the nitrous limited edition kit. This is the Phantom Black, I think, which really, it looks more like a smoky gunmetal. It's still really good. And then what else did I get? Oh wait, I've got more orange. Yeah, more orange AFC rings and all that jazz. But then I also got this right here, a red and white nitrous. The first time I saw this, I was like, that should be named the Just Right One nitrous. If it had been red and gold, I probably would have ordered 2 of them and just sent one to Joel and been like, hey, you should own one of these, so here you go. This should be renamed the Just Right One nitrous. Yeah, the small mass Fralians are amazing from Coil Claw. He does amazing work with all the small mass stuff that he's doing. Somebody asked me about small mass coils for like single coil in comments recently. And you know, I sort of recommended it, I guess, but also you got to be careful with those things. They're pretty frail. They're really good, but they're easy to bust up if you're not careful with them. Yeah, which one are you getting? The red and white one? Or the limited edition kit? I'm going to do a show and tell video, and we'll go through all that whole limited edition kit, everything that comes with it. And I'll probably show off that red and white one as well. It'll just be a little short video, kind of like the Russian custom mods Bushido video that I did. Chasing Clouds flavor reviews. Have a good night, sir. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, Deb, that limited edition kit is super cool because you get so many different colors in it. I wish it had kind of had also the newer colors that they came out with, like that what is it? Space gray, green apple, the orange, and there's another one that they did as well. I think it's like a pastel pink, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely got to be gentle with those small mass coils. He was asking about he was asking about single coil RDAs and if there was any I recommended other than the nitrous, or if there was single coil RDAs that I thought were better than the nitrous. And the Haku Veno was one that I mentioned. The Hadley I definitely mentioned, and the Wasp Nano. But he was also talking about coils, and he mentioned, I guess he had looked on Jonathan's site and saw the small mass coils, so he was asking about those. But I did make sure and tell him, hey, those things, well, they're easy to bust up. You got to be very delicate with them. Yeah, digging this for sure. But I think I'm going to call it, guys. It has been a great return to live building. So hopefully every Wednesday, 10 p.m. That's where I'm going to put it right now, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get Wednesdays off. That changes. I'm still going to do it every week. It'll always be at 10 p.m. But I'll let you guys know if the day has to change or something like that. Also, starting next week I'm going to do it at 1 p.m. starting out. So next Monday, 1 p.m. is going to be live mixing. And live mixing will probably go for a few hours, because I always felt like whenever I did the live mixing streams, it was always too short. I felt like I was under a little bit of a time constraint that did not work well for doing anything DIY live mixing. So probably kind of end up making those run long. Those Monday, 1 p.m. and then live build streams Wednesday at 10 p.m. Think we're going to do some RDTAs on the next live build stream. I appreciate all you very much for coming out. Much love, vape on, and I will catch you guys in the next one.